In the summer of 1917, the world was at war, but far away from the trenches, in the quiet English village of Cottingley, a mystery was beginning that would capture imaginations for decades to come. Frances had recently moved to England from South Africa, where her father served in the army. She felt lonely in her new home. Elsie, the older cousin, became her closest friend and companion. Together, they spent long afternoons by the beck, a narrow stream running behind Elsie's family house. It was here, in the dappled light of the water and trees, that Frances claimed she had seen them. Two cousins, 16-year-old Elsie Wright and 9-year-old Frances Griffiths, often played by the beck, a small stream behind Elsie's family home. Life in Yorkshire was simple, but for the girls, the beck was a place of magic. They claimed that in the dappled light by the water, tiny winged beings danced. Not insects, not birds, fairies. When Frances insisted she had seen them, her mother laughed. But Elsie had an idea. Her father owned a camera, and if they could capture these beings on film, they could prove their existence. One afternoon, the girls borrowed the camera, staged their moment, and snapped a picture. When the photograph was developed, it showed Frances, kneeling by the stream, with delicate winged creatures hovering nearby. The family was astonished. Elsie's mother, Polly, was convinced the images were real. Elsie's father, however, dismissed them as childish tricks, but Polly shared the photos with friends. And soon word began to spread. In an age when spiritualism was growing, when people longed for hope and proof of life beyond the material world, these photographs landed like a revelation. The response was overwhelming. Some readers were enchanted, convinced that at last, here was proof that another world existed alongside our own. Others scoffed, ridiculing the idea that two children had uncovered evidence of fairies when scientists and explorers had not. Even photographic experts weighed in. Kodak examined the prints, concluding they showed no evidence of tampering, though they stopped short of calling them authentic. Still, the photographs fueled debate and wonder across Britain, and soon, across the world. Over the next few years, more photographs followed. Elsie and Frances produced additional images, each showing them in the company of winged figures, some dancing, others perched, others bowing in greeting. To believers, the series was undeniable. To skeptics, they were clever fakes. Yet in the shadow of war and loss, many found comfort in the idea that magic might still exist, hidden in plain sight. For decades, the Cottingley fairy photographs remained a mystery. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle held firm in his belief until his death, convinced that the girls had offered the world a glimpse into another realm. Spiritualists continued to cite the photos as evidence, while critics pointed to the stiff, flat shapes of the fairies, which resembled drawings rather than living beings. Of course, skeptics had their doubts. Fairy believers celebrated. And the two young cousins, they kept their secret. Decades passed, and only in the 1980s did Elsie and Frances finally confess. They admitted that yes, some of the photos were staged, with paper cutouts taken from a children's book. But here's the twist. Frances always insisted. At least one of the photographs was real. Even when her death came in 1986, she swore, "We did fake some, but not all. We really did see fairies." More than a century later, the Cottingley photographs still hold their power. Whether trick or truth, they enchanted millions, and they remind us of something important, that the world is stranger and more magical than we dare to admit. And sometimes, all it takes is a child with a camera, by a quiet Yorkshire stream, to make us believe in fairies again.